UPBK, dan skema rekompensasi. Dan satu sekolah di Cibubur, Kabupaten Bogor, yaitu SMPK Penabur Kota Wisata. Informasi lebih lengkap mengenai SMPK Penabur Jakarta dapat diakses melalui tautan atau QR Code berikut.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, judges, teachers, and all our wonderful participants to the Junior High English Competition 2025, especially to the speech competition. My name is Janice, and I will be your MC for today's competition. Helping us today are our timekeeper, Fandy, and our usher, Catherine and Jacob. Before we begin, please listen to the rules for the speech competition. First, the topic delivered by the participant must follow the drawing result from the technical meeting. Second, participants should introduce their names and the topic, but they are not allowed to mention their school names. Third, the time allotment is 4 to 7 minutes, including the introduction. Four, the committee will show flag signals to inform the remaining time. A green flag means there are 2 minutes left. A yellow flag means there is 1 minute left. And a red flag means the time is up, but you guys may finish your speech. Please make sure you speak clearly, confidently, and enjoy your time on the stage. Let's welcome Clarice Alexandra C. to deliver their speech.
They say a person's reflection reveals who they are, not just physically, but emotionally. For me, my reflection used to be a safe space. It was a quiet reminder that I was still standing there. And eventually, over time, it turned into something that didn't feel like mine anymore. It grew unfamiliar and almost distant. And for teenagers, nothing shakes more than realizing the person staring back at you isn't someone you recognize anymore. Good morning, honorable judges. My name is Clarice Alexandra C. And today I want to share with you a journey many of my kind walked through, overcoming self-doubt as a teenager. Now, this isn't just a topic that I research or that I know of. It's a topic and a story that I lived on my own, and one that rewrote my perspective on comparison, on self-identity, and self-growth. My struggle with self-doubt didn't begin dramatically. More so, it began quietly, during a transition many students face, which is a shift from elementary school to junior high. And looking back, there were already signs that I didn't quite fit well back in my school, because I was constantly floating between groups, thus making me not really fit in. But then, after I didn't really question it quite yet, not until I moved into a new environment that magnified my fear even more. The fear of competition, expectations, and the pressure to match standards that I haven't faced before. But if there was one event that really accelerated my self-doubt, it would be the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, when the pandemic struck mankind, it shrunk our big world into small, tiny screens. And for teenagers, it changed a lot of things. It wasn't just something we used to go to school with. It's not something we used to attend school with. It's where we lived. And according to the UNICEF, an organization that regards of children policies and children protection, teenagers nearly tripled their screen time over the course of the pandemic, thus beginning the endless scroll. Flawless photos, perfect achievements, and lives that seem better than ours. At first, it did seem harmless, but eventually, it became a habit, and every swipe whispered, "Look at that. You're not like that. Why aren't you like that? You don't belong there, and you're not enough." And the scary part is that you start believing it. So eventually, my grades slipped, my motivation collapsed, and my parents grew worried, and my teachers were even disappointed. But me, I felt like I wasn't just failing at school, but rather I was failing as a person. And that was the moment where the first seed of self-doubt was planted in my brain. But unfortunately, this seed of self-doubt didn't just stay as a seed. Social media watered it, comparison fertilized it, and isolation gave it the perfect sunlight to grow. So eventually, it turned into a vine that wrapped tightly around my own self-esteem. And there is a small Filipino folktale I want to share with you all, which is about a boy who lived near a mountain. Now every day, this boy, he would climb up that mountain. And then he would see the distance left, and he would climb back down, convinced that the peak was impossible to reach, right? And then one day, an old traveler approached this boy, and he asked, "You've climbed half of the hardest part of this mountain, but why back down before even seeing the view?" And you know what? That boy just simply replied with, "Because the shadow of the mountain simply tells I can't." Now, ain't that answer just pathetic? But let me tell you that that shadow represents the self-doubt that we encounter and that we face with. It makes us trust the fear more than the truth. Now, returning to the pandemic, returning to online school, everything was too loud, and it all came too fast like a jolt. The bubbly kid I used to be, she was gone. And my self-confidence felt like it evaporated during the lockdown. And when I moved schools, and when I moved into that new environment, it was a place filled with students who spoke confidently, who presented effortlessly, and they all moved in a pace far ahead of mine. So with that, the shadow of my self-doubt grew longer. And then I remember I used to come back from school, and then I would cry quietly and silently in my room. I felt so out of place, I felt so out of rhythm, and I just felt out of hope. But here is the turning point in this story. The part where my teacher tells me that I must express with clarity, which is how I began overcoming self-doubt as a teenager. Now, the truth is, there is no magical transformation, no epiphany that fixed everything overnight. It started small, painfully small. It started from the people around me, the people close to me. My family encouraged me, my friends listened to me, and I learned to manage my own screen time. I unfollowed accounts that made me feel inferior, and I learned that I reminded myself that everything I see online and everything I see on social media isn't real life. It's a highlighted reel, heavily edited, and carefully chosen. And aside from that, I tried something new. Instead of asking, "Why am I not like that?" I ask, "What can I do to improve myself for myself?" But that shift didn't erase the self-doubt completely, but it did really weaken its grip. So from that, I slowly regained my self-confidence, right? Through effort, through self-awareness, and through the people around me who supported me. And then I learned to let go of unrealistic expectations and instead replace them with goals of my own, not something shaped by somebody else's timeline. And then I learned, and I soon come to realize that growth isn't linear. So meaning, some days may feel like progress, but others may feel like collapse. But both are really part of becoming who we are. And so, as I close upon this speech, let me bring us back to where I began, which is the reflection. Your reflection will change as you grow. And the person staring back at you, self-doubt will not define the person. And sometimes you'll feel like you love the reflection, sometimes you'll fear it. But self-doubt will challenge them to rise and not falter. So, to every teenager listening right now, your reflection is not your enemy, but your reflection is your witness to your becoming, to your self-growth, and to your resilience. So even if it feels unfamiliar now, trust me that one day you will meet a person and a version of you that you can become proud of. Thank you very much.
For your wonderful speech. Coming up next, we have Arcelia Nalini Manulu.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arcelia Nalini. First of all, I want to thank the Lord Almighty for the blessings that He has given upon us today. I would also like to thank the honorable judges for giving me this opportunity to stand before you to deliver my speech. Before I start my speech, I want to ask you one simple question. Have you ever seen this picture before? For those who don't know, this picture is a game called Gobak Sodor. Gobak Sodor is an Indonesian line tag game. As you can see, this game is played on a field, which is divided into several sections by line. There are usually 4 horizontal lines and 1 vertical line in this game. The players will be divided into 2 teams. One team as the defenders and the other one as the attackers. The defenders stand on their line and can only move along the line they guard, while the attackers need to try to cross from one end of the field to the other and back without getting tapped. It sounds like such a simple game, isn't it? Back when I was younger, I used to play Gobak Sodor every day with my childhood friends. Sometimes our team wins, but it is not rare that we lose. This game shows us that victory is only possible when everyone works together in a team. Which leads us to our topic for today, how to grow as a team. Steve Jobs once said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. It is done by a team of people." Which is true, because Apple wouldn't have become the global company it is today if it were operated by only one person. Its success comes from teamwork. Behind Apple's inventions and innovations, there are people collaborating, sharing ideas, and solving problems together. Every contribution matters in teamwork. So, what exactly is teamwork? Based on the Cambridge Dictionary, teamwork is the activity of working together in a group with other people. As we all know, humans like us are social creatures. There is nobody in this world that can live by their own. And that is why teamwork, just like in Gobak Sodor, has a significant impact in our daily lives. The real question is, how can we work in a team? Well, working in a team is definitely not as easy as it sounds. There are just so many things that can happen out of our control. Sometimes our teammates have different opinions than us, and it can be quite challenging to find a solution. Other times, some team members work harder than the others, and it can make the team feel unbalanced. It can be quite frustrating. But if you really want to build a good team, there are 3 main things that we need to make sure we have. First thing first, a team needs good communication. Communication is the key to good teamwork. It helps us understand each other's thoughts and ideas better, which avoids us from misunderstanding. Through communication, we make sure that everyone knows what to do and no one feels left behind. Second, respect and trust. Knowing that we are working in a team means that we're not working individually. A team must have respect and trust towards one another. It's not about who's right and who's wrong, nor it is about being the same. It's about how we can value each teammate's differences and use them to complement each other. If everyone in a team only focuses on themselves, it is most likely that the team will fall apart, which we don't want to happen, right? Third, when working in a team, we have to make sure that we have the same vision and goals, and everyone must cooperate to reach it. A team will not succeed if everyone wants to walk in different directions. While working individually may seem easier and more comfortable, it will never be able to match the power of teamwork. Teamwork allows us to do tasks that we cannot do alone faster and produce better results. And most importantly, teamwork teaches us to learn from one another and push each other to become better. Teamwork doesn't only teach us to win, but to grow together in our process of learning. And that is why I strongly believe that us, teenagers, should learn to value teamwork too. We are the next generation, the ones that will become inventors, innovators, leaders, and many more. We are still young, still learning, still growing. And the habits that we build now will shape the future we step into. This is the age where we discover our path and what we want to do in life. But we can never do it alone. And the great thing is, we don't have to. Through teamwork, we learn from one another and combine our strength to achieve something bigger. We grow together as a team. So, let us start our journey together. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for my speech. I hope that my speech can encourage and inspire you all to value teamwork. Because together, we can do so much more than we could ever do alone. Thank you for listening.
Great job on your stage. Please invite Earl Shen Miguel Simanjuntak to the stage.
So I start presenting. No, can I? I'll say. Good morning, adjudicators, esteemed guests, and fellow teachers. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Shane. I am from SMPG for PENABUR. And today I would like to shed light about the importance of confidence and how to build confidence and self-belief. Now, clearly, everyone in this world, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a businessman, a postman, and even a student, whatever we do in our life or whatever the course of our action we take, it's all made or it's all caused with the help of confidence. Why? Because essentially, confidence is the building block, sort of the drive, one of the drives that help us to do the things we do. It makes us believe that what we do is effective and what we do matters to other people. As a matter of fact, according to Oxford Languages, confidence is the feeling or the belief that what we do matters or is effective for others. Now, I would like to state that according to the Psychological Association of Britain, it states that improved confidence actually leads people and all sorts of citizens, whether and in broad jobs, that it connects to performances in work and social life. Essentially, what it means that confidence plays also an important role in interactive courses or socialization with other people, which is a vital part of our lives because humans are social creatures. Now, another thing that I would like to state about why confidence is important is because we are revolving around in a world that demands a lot of creativity, aspects of hard work, and all sorts of skill sets that we need the self-belief that we have of our skill sets and our confidence in order to maintain and sustain a viable and also a balanced narrative in our lives, in order to present ourselves with different kinds of people. Let's say if you are working, trying to get a job or trying to land a spot in the student council, you need confidence to answer the questions, confidence to show who you are and what you're made of. And as a matter of fact, according to the study from Harvard University, it says that after interviewing local office workers, that confidence plays a crucial role in this in the social life of people between their interactions economically. It shows that people with higher confidence is actually more effective in terms of socialization and also more interactive interactions, whether it's economically or socially or you're having your love life. Now, after I've stated on why the importance of confidence is so vital, I'd like to give you one question, one vital question. Since confidence is so important, especially in this state of world today, why, as a matter of fact, and how should we or could we build confidence? How do we develop our self-belief in ourselves? Because most of the time, we have this type of inner critic, which is stated by the University of Queensland. This university states that we have an inner critic which basically always and will always try to critique whatever you do in the negative side, hence making you more cautious, more socially aware, but to the point where it gets dangerous because it causes us to lose belief in ourselves and our skill set. As a matter of fact, the university also states 3 possible ways that we can help develop and deviate from the negative state into a more positive one. The first one is, I can put in one word, mindset. What does this mean? Well, it means that we have to first get to know, ourselves more. What does that mean? We have to be aware of we have to be aware that mistakes or the fear of failure is not something that is negative, but essentially mistakes and failures are the one that causes us and drives us to be more powerful as a person and to adapt and to learn and to become a person greater than what we are when we were scared. Because as a matter of fact, people who doubt themselves will tremendously lower their performance, as I've stated previously in the previous argument. And I also would like to state for the second point, which I can also put in one word, which is reflection. Reflection is essentially knowing yourself more, getting to know who you are as a person. Because from reflection, we can know whatever skills that we have, our strengths, and our weaknesses. So from that, we can gain and do well in metacognition in order to change what we have in our weaknesses and to change our negative ways into positive ones. And thirdly, I'd like to state about environment. Of course, the obvious one. If we're surrounded by people full of bullies or negative people, people who just want to bring you down, or people with a crab mentality, of course we won't be able to get off of that negative state. We will still be there because we're surrounded by people who are negative. But if we're surrounded by creative people or positive people, people who believe in themselves and who have felt this experience, we can relate to them, we can learn from them, and we can certainly also learn, after learning from them, deviate from the foundational skills we learn from them in order to become a better person, whether that's skillfully or personally, or even spiritually. Now, after stating these 3 words, mindset, reflection, and environment, I hope that everyone understands the importance of these foundational skills. Because after learning these 3 things, we can deviate from them. Because those 3 important pillars, as a matter of fact, are crucial in order to balance out the state of ourselves personally. Because from there, we can also know how to interact when we're feeling, let's say, a bit nervous during an interview. Or even you're scared because you're doing a speech live in front of a lot of audiences. Now, confidence is the thing that drives us. It helps us. And as a matter of fact, not only us, but I hope that confidence helps all of us. So be confident, not just for yourself, but for the world and to build our country and the globe. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your wonderful speech. Give a warm round of applause for Rodrica Dinar La Maria Hasibuan.
we too dependent on technology? This question is at the center of our lives, shaping how we work, connect, and even think every day. Let me tell you a story. A long time ago, people sent messages on foot or by horse, and it could take days for news to travel across one town to another. Then someone invented the telegraph. The telegraph allowed messages to be sent within minutes, and eventually, voices could be heard across great distances. And then here comes the internet. The internet connects everyone all over the world in an instant. Technology is the story of how humans solve problems and interact with each other. It began with a simple tool and has grown into these powerful devices we use every day. Today, we live in a world where communication and information are always at our fingertips, thanks to technology. As someone who has always been fascinated by the use of technology, my name is Rodrika, and I'm very excited to speak to y'all today about technology and its deep impact on our world. That story shows how far we have come, and now let us explore the true meaning of technology. But first, what is technology? In general, technology is the application of scientific knowledge to solve problems, to make life easier, to achieve practical goals. But according to the Oxford English Dictionary, technology is a machinery and/or equipment developed from the scientific knowledge of an application. Technology has changed our lives in many ways. It has changed how we communicate, how we access information, how we enjoy entertainment, how we do our daily tasks, how we travel, how we receive healthcare. For example, social media helps us stay connected. The internet provides endless of information. GPS and navigation apps makes travel easier. And then medical technology. They improve healthcare. Smart homes, online shopping, they make our lives easier in many ways. But of course, those are the advantages of technology. Nevertheless, if there are advantages, there are disadvantages. And those disadvantages are the dependency on technology. Are we too dependent on technology? This question is still a mystery up until now. Technology is great. We use technology every day, yes. But some of us may find it hard to let go of our phones or computers, our laptops, our tablets, and so on. While technology brings many benefits, people wonder whether or not our society as a whole relies too much on technology or not. And that is the bad thing. According to a study by Penn State, 77% said that our society as a whole relies too much on technology to succeed. Which, of course, isn't entirely a bad thing, but it could be. Phones and computers have led users to be completely engrossed in their devices. In fact, there's even a term for this: nomophobia, no mobile phone phobia, which is when a person has an actual fear of losing or not being near their phone. This affects humans negatively. Besides that, there are more and more evidence of overdependency to technology. First off, we have reduced mental and physical abilities. From what I have seen, there are a lot of people who uses calculators for such simple equations. For example, 5 times 9, 45, of course. Second is the social and emotional effects. There are people who prefer online interactions over real life ones, real world one, face to face. They hate it. That can be bad for them. Bad for us, bad for the earth, bad for the environment as a whole, the society as a whole. Third is the change of their daily activities. Since they have been completely engrossed in their devices, they lose track of time online. They feel like something is missing without a phone, which is not good at all. Next, the last one, we have work and responsibility. Some people think that tasks can only be completed with constant internet access. So in conclusion, I believe that we are indeed too dependent on technology. Technology has their many benefits, it's good for us, it's better than we were before. But we need to learn how to maintain a healthy life balance between technology and some traditional things. We can't always depend on technology. We need to maintain that balance, life balance. So in conclusion, again, I feel that we are too dependent on technology. Thank you.
Thank you for your amazing speech. Here is our next participant, Angela Margaret Marbun.
Good morning, judges. My name is Angela Marbun. I'm very delighted to be here and have the chance to talk about technology. Will it connect people or make us more distant? I believe Marshall McLuhan's insight from the 1960s is still relevant today. We shape our tools, and then our tools shape us. In the past, communication relied only on mailings, which took a long time to reach its destination. As the world grew busier, the telephone emerged to provide faster communication, though it still had limitations. These gaps eventually led to the creation of the internet, enabling the exchange of all kinds of information, not just voices. Technology continues to advance rapidly. It never slows down. It offers countless new opportunities, but it also comes with risk and potential harm. But let's set the debate aside for a moment. When our society invents something new, headlines often portray technology as dangerous. We hear the same warnings again and again, that technology will make us lose our morals, our identity, and even our ability to communicate. For example, many older generation prefer their children to interact only in the real world and ban devices at home because they believe gadgets distract and slow down learning. Yet on the other hand, the internet can actually make learning and teamwork easier. Group work can happen through video calls. Materials can be shared instantly. And there are countless platforms that connect people with communities of every interest. Opportunities we wouldn't have if we relied only on face-to-face interaction. And because it's a digital world, possibilities are endless. But if someone isn't familiar with these possibilities, they tend to judge them as less valuable. Like when parents place too many barriers between their children and technology, children can lose chances to explore their interests and find supportive communities. They will also struggle to compete in the future, becoming less prepared and less competitive in an increasingly digital world. They will have a hard time understanding modern technology, leaving them unready to navigate the digital era. And this isn't just an opinion. Many studies show that overly restricting children from technology causes even greater long-term losses. Children who are never introduced to technology often end up confused and eventually use it recklessly. Let me give a personal example. As a teenager, I grew up with the internet and advanced technology, unlike my parents. To me, using my phone all day felt normal. But to my parents, it didn't. They worried. Would I have friends at school? Would I be able to communicate to other people? And to prevent anything bad from happening, they confiscated my gadgets, my phone. Feeling misunderstood, I started searching for answers. I even Googled, will technology connect us? And Google's AI simply replied, technology both connects and isolates us. And indeed, many articles supported both sides of arguments. One side argued that technology accelerates the flow of information, makes knowledge widely accessible, and enables instant communication. Even if someone doesn't have a friend nearby, there are countless platforms that connect people with communities of every interest, from art, music, science, everything. But on the other hand, many studies show a link between heavy technology use and an increased feeling of loneliness. Social media are meant to bring people together, but it can actually make us feel more disconnected. Even if someone is talking to many people online, those conversations often don't provide the emotional fulfillment we get from real-life interaction. So yes, I admit, my parents weren't entirely wrong. Seeing this whole situation has changed me as someone who depends on technology. I've personally experienced both sides of argument. I've experienced the loneliness and burnout that come from being on my phone all day. But I've also felt how technology helps, from studying, doing group projects, to even learn how to communicate better. Technology is like water. It takes the shape of its container. We, as humans, are the one who have to filter technology. We determine whether technology impacts us. We decide whether it connects or distances us. Whether it becomes a tool used wisely or something that creates dependency. I realized that the real issue was never the phone. It was maturity. When I learned to use technology with intention for a good purpose, my parents learned to trust the world I was growing into. The question is no longer, does technology connect us? But it is actually, how will we choose to connect? I'm Angela Marbun. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.
Great job on your speech. We now call Captain Arkanata Pratama to come forward.
Good morning, esteemed judges and my dear audience. Thank you for giving me a chance to be here right now talking to you guys. For the next 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to tell you about humanity's biggest problem. It is called stress and how we can change it together as a humanity, as a whole. Let's get into the action and start this with a fun little experiment, shall we? I'm the taskmaster or the game master is going to provide you with two types of jobs. On the left side, you have the job of a prison guard. On the right side, you have the job of a prisoner. If I were to challenge you to survive in jail for 2 weeks, what job would you select? I'll let you decide for a moment. Based on the human behavior alone, I can predict that you, my audience, will choose the left side. Why? Because humans are tend to and drawn to the source of power. They will do whatever it takes just to get that, even if they need to change. This experiment can tell us a lot about the truth of human behavior in changes, and they can change in a blink of an eye. So embark this journey with me as we uncover the truth of changes and the human behavior in stress. Before we dig deep into this topic, I'm going to introduce myself briefly. My name is Kevin Pratama, and let's continue. As a teen, sometimes I feel a bit awkward. I don't know what should I do, what I've done, even though the mistake has already been made. It's like the world shatters from reality, and you are the core reason for that world to shatter and burn. That my audience is called stress. Based on a research that has been done with the WHO organization, 73% of adults worldwide suffer from stress. That's approximately 38,000 adults suffering from stress every second. Teens also tend to suffer from this so-called phenomenon of a virus. So, it's not a personal issue. It's not a personal concern. It's a global issue that keeps on escalating, and piling up if we leave it unaddressed. So what are the root causes of this so-called pandemic of stress? To put it simply, pressure. Everybody here knows that pressure is what differentiates the good one and the best one. You guys know what is a diamond, right? It's a majestic gem that is shining, that is wanted by a lot of people. If you look deeper, you dig deeper, you will realize that diamonds are made under immense pressure. Without pressure, diamonds wouldn't be diamonds. Diamonds would just be just a normal mineral that people don't care about. The point I'm trying to give you is that diamonds, same as us, we cannot be distracted by pressure. All the top flight athletes who play in the biggest league, who play in the best league, have one thing in common. No, it's not ability nor talent. They thrive under pressure and perform better under the right times possible. Example, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best player to ever live in this world. Every time you want to take a penalty, you always say this: "You can do this, Cristiano. You've done this 1,000 times." This just shows that even the best of the best needs motivation, needs courage to be good under pressure. So, let us not be distracted by pressure and be better under pressure. Everyone here knows what is the story of the hare and the turtle. It's a classic tale that parents love to tell to make their kids go to sleep. It's fine as long you reach the finish line. My parents once told me. Back then, I didn't think a lot about it. I thought it was just a simple story about the rabbit, which is the bad guy, and the turtle, which is the good guy. But if you look deeper into that story, we can realize that the second major cause of stress is something called the constant rush for change. A lot of people think that change has to be done in an instant, and change is frightening, but that's wrong. If you think like that, that's wrong, because if we look at Steve Jobs' career, we can realize that Steve Jobs has built Apple from ground up. And one time, he got fired from Apple, the company that he built himself. What happened? He changed his mentality, he changed his perspective, and changed his life, and got hired back to Apple, and led Apple to its greatness. Usain Bolt, the fastest sprinter to ever live in this world, practiced for years for a 9-second run. We shouldn't be scared of change, nor we should think that change has to be done in an instant. But good days are coming for those who believe in change, who dare to change, can who want to change into a better person as a whole, the youth. To conclude this speech, these words change, press, pressure, consequence, change shouldn't be scary. These words are like fire. If you use them correctly, you can use it as a source of cooking, as a source for light, warmth. But at the same time, if you use it wrong, you can burn everything down their path if we're not prepared at all. Change what happened my way, or your way, or his way, her way, but your way. And I truly believe. I'm going to leave you with a simple message. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And let's make today count and change our life into better by doing healthy stress management. That's all for me today. I'm sorry if I did some mistakes throughout the speech, and I hope you enjoyed it. If I can do it, then why can't you? Get up and make it work. It's now or never, and you're the best out of the best. And you will eventually know it. Thank you.
Thanks for your inspiring speech. Presenting next, Theophilus Darius Purgaba with their speech.
Good morning. I am Theophilus Darius Purgaba. Today, I would like to give my insight regarding a topic related to technology. Before I begin, I would like to ask a question to all of you. Has technology had an impact on the social structure of humanity? Well, like it or not, it has. Technology has changed the way we interact with other people. It has shaped the way we distance and approach certain things. It has changed our ideologies and even our philosophies. However, that is where our dilemma shows up. As I've said before, technology has changed the way we interact with other people, shaping the way we distance and approach certain things. So the question is, how does that affect humanity? Does this mean that technology will unite humans into one big family on Earth? Or does it mean that technology will separate all of us? Or in other words, technology, is it connecting people or making us more distant? Today, I would like to answer that question. Technology as a whole has had its history of separating and uniting. That be through scientific breakthroughs, new inventions, new discoveries, and many, many other things. However, this doesn't mean there's a difference between the amount of people that have been united and the amount of people that have been separated. For this, I would take the internet as reference, as the internet, without a doubt, has managed to shake the entire world by connecting everybody. The internet has managed to connect about 6.04 billion people all across the world, with 5.66 billion of those people having a social media account, showing that more than half of the world has been united. However, this doesn't mean there are some people who have been separated as well. So with this in mind, I would like to talk about the respective places, whether technology has united us more or separated us more. In terms of unity, technology has done a great job managing, as I said earlier, to unite 6.04 billion people, with 5.66 billion of those people having a social media account. Even though some of these accounts could be lost, robots, old, now unused accounts, it doesn't change the fact that more than half of the world are a part of the internet. It really shows how much technology has managed to connect humanity as a whole. However, this also doesn't change the fact that humanity has stopped us and managed to separate us in many different ways. Technology in the internet itself is split between many different platforms and identities. This is seen through different platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and many others, with in those platforms being different communities, causing people to feel different or excluded very easily when they enter a new community. However, that is not the main problem. The main problem is the amount of discrimination, hate, and racism spread all across the internet. The amount of people who are willing to give offensive messages, to say bad things to each other, just for the fun of it, or just for any other reason. The sad part is that some acts like this have been considered casual, with new terms such as casual racism, meaning that some people wouldn't even bat an eye at you for saying something racist or something bad. Some would even think you have a sick sense of humor for saying that. It truly is sad. However, this doesn't mean that the internet or technology as a whole hasn't united humanity more. The internet still, without a doubt, has managed to unite most of the world. That it doesn't matter if it is split between many different platforms or many different communities. It doesn't change the fact that most of the world is still united under one being, that being the internet. However, we are very close to being separated. So how can we stop? How can we stop the hate and discrimination, all the racism that spreads across the internet? Well, I think we can do the right thing, which is to unite people and encourage others to be supportive to each other. And it is done in 3 simple steps. First, do not follow people who try to discourage others or try to say bad things to each other. Second, encourage others. Say simple messages like, congratulations, when someone wins something. Good job, when they actually do a good job. And third, try to stop people from discouraging others without sparking an argument. Because if you spark an argument, would you not be the one separating people? With these 3 simple steps, we can unite people even more, encourage people to be more positive, and halt the spread of hate all across the internet. That'd be through 3 simple steps. I hope that this speech has taught us how to do the right thing, when to do it, where to do it, and why we should do it. I hope this speech has ignited a fire in our hearts so we can take the initiative and unite everybody so we can all be supportive of each other. I apologize for any mistakes or false information I've said in this speech. Thank you for listening. Good morning.
Thank you for sharing your speech. Let's show our support for Hadasa Efi Tendean.
Oh, I can go. Morning, judges. Hi, my name is Michelle. I have a question to ask. Have any of you just paused and think to yourself, am I enough? Will I fail? Or will I succeed? If you have, even just once, you are valid. Today, we're going to talk about something most teenagers experience, but rarely discuss. Self-doubt. As a teenager myself, I know it's so confusing and so overwhelming. That little voice that just says, I'm not enough. I'll fail. Nothing will go right for me. That's self-doubt. Humans are better than robots. But what if the very thing that makes us better can hold us back? Feelings. Robots don't have feelings. We do. And sometimes those feelings are the ones that can bring us down. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is actually a sign that you care. You wouldn't ask, am I enough? If there wasn't anything to be enough for. We compare ourselves to others. We look at their highlights and think that they figured life out. But everyone struggles, even the confident. You are not alone. Someone out there might even look at you and think that they figured life and that they wish that they had your strength. So in that case, you are never alone. There always has to be someone out there that's the same like you. Self-doubt only becomes dangerous when you let it control us, when it stops us from trying. But remember, self-doubt is a feeling, not a fact. Feeling like you'll fail does not mean you will. So next time that little voice just says, I'm not enough, respond, but what if I am? When it says, I'll fail, answer, but what if I succeed? Courage is not absence of doubt. It's moving forward despite it. Humans grow and learn. Robots only follow instructions. Our mistakes makes us better. Our doubts push us to try harder. And that's the beauty of being human. Failure does not mean that you're weak. It does not mean that your journey stops there. It means that you can always try again. You can always go back up and retry. So next time that little voice says, I'm not enough, remember, you are enough. You tried. You care. And that already makes you better than what you did. So, the thing I'm trying to say is, self-doubt is never a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you should always try and keep going, even if it stops us.
Thank you for your wonderful speech. It's now Elzia Bonita Perba III.
Good morning, everyone. Have you ever thought that you are not good enough? Like everyone around you is better, smarter, or more talented than you, and then you begin to doubt yourself? Well, you're not alone. Many young people in Indonesia feel the same way. We live in a world where people often compare themselves with others through grades, beauty, or popularity on social media. Now, imagine a student who always tries the best, then opens her Instagram. She sees someone winning competitions, traveling abroad, and getting hundreds of likes. And then suddenly, she feels small. She starts thinking, maybe I'm not good enough. And that, my friends, is the real problem. We stop believing in ourselves. Before I go deeper, let me introduce myself. My name is Elysia, and today I want to talk about something we've all struggled with. The courage to believe in ourselves even in moments our confidence tries to run away. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, believe you can, and you are halfway there. This simple quote reminds that confidence starts not from others, but from within. Do we really have to be like someone else to be worthy? The answer is no. Because confidence is not about being better than others. It's about believing that you are valuable. Like the Bruno Mars song, just the way you are. Now let me tell you a simple story. A boy who lived in a small town in Indonesia once joined a public speaking contest. His English was not perfect. His clothes were simple. He stood in front of the audience, shaking. People laughed. Some said, he can't make it. But then he took a deep breath. He spoke to himself. I may not be the best, but I will do my best. He spoke with his heart. And guess what? He didn't win the first prize, but he won something greater. He won confidence. He learned that when you believe in yourself, you already won half the battle. So, how can we, as Indonesian youth, be more confident and believe in ourselves? Let me share 3 simple steps. First, accept who you are. Maybe you come from a small school. Your English is not good, or your family is not rich. But those things don't define what you're worth. What defines you is your effort, your heart, and your courage to keep trying. Second, stop comparing yourself with others. Comparison kills confidence. Everyone has their own journey. The mango tree and the coconut tree don't grow at the same time, but both give sweet fruits in their own time. Third, take actions, even when you're afraid. Because confidence grows when you do something. Every little steps, from answering a question in the classroom, joining competition, and speaking in front of others, it builds your courage. And remember what Nelson Mandela said. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So yes, it's okay to be afraid, but be brave enough to start even when your voice shakes. So friends, confidence is not given, it is built. It is built every time you believe in yourself when no one else does. It is built every time you fail and decide to start again. It is built every time you say, yes, I can, when your mind whispers, no, you can't. Before I end, remember this. Our country, Indonesia, needs confident young people. Students who dare to dream, to speak, to create, and to lead. Because the future belongs not to the smartest, not to the richest, but to those who believe in themselves enough to keep trying. And as the great Muhammad Ali once said, to be the great champion, you must believe in yourself. If not, pretend you are. So today, when you walk out of this room, walk with your head held high, your heart full of hopes, and say proudly, I'm Indonesian, I believe in myself, and I'm ready to shine. Thank you.
Thank you for your amazing speech. Please welcome Anastasia Gracia to present their speech.
Greetings, respectable judges. First of all, I'd like to thank God the Almighty for giving me the chance to stand here, right now, in order to deliver my speech. Now, before I start, I'd like to ask you, respectable judges, one question. Have you ever been extremely stressed? Probably from work, societal pressure, family issues, or friendship problems. And don't worry, it's actually normal. In fact, I am one of those people who have experienced a stress so extreme that it felt like it was the end of my world. I felt so pressured. And I felt helpless. Like I knew I was in a very bad condition. Yet, I just couldn't get myself out of it. It's like I'm stuck in that bad situation and I couldn't improve myself. And that truly felt terrible. However, it has led me to wonder, are all teenagers not able to regulate their own stress? Or are they actually having the ability, but they just keeping the potential in themselves? We're going to find out. Today, I, Anastasia Gracia Solistio, am going to talk about a very important topic, which is how to manage stress, specifically in teenagers, in the healthiest way possible. Now, before I dive deeper into this topic, I'd like to get all of us on the same page. What do we know about stress? And why is it that necessary? Is it even that important and worth of our awareness? Well, according to the WHO Center, stress is basically a reflex or response towards extreme external stimuli, such as pressures, challenges, or events. And those things can be too overwhelming for someone to take. And in my case, it just felt like I couldn't control myself. It felt too overwhelming, and it really affects my physical well-being. And in fact, if we look around each and every day, let's relate, we see a lot of teenagers struggling with stress, right? I suppose so. And I've recently done a research to 278 student respondents in my school, and turns out 91.7% of them agreed that they have once experienced such extreme stress at least once in their lifetime. And most of them even told me that they experienced it almost every day. Now, stress is often overlooked, with symptoms often just called by people, oh, you're having a bad day. Oh, maybe it's just your luck, it's bad today. Like, for example, I felt like I had some muscle aches and I couldn't sleep enough at night. People would just consider, oh, it's just some physical symptoms. It's not anything to worry about. However, it's actually stress in disguise. Let's see how stress affects a teenager's life. Teenagers with stress often experience just extreme anxiety. They overthink about anything that's out of their hands. They can't control it, yet they still keep thinking about it. Hence, at night, they usually have trouble sleeping, or what we once called insomnia. They couldn't sleep because their brain could not relax and try to process. For example, tomorrow they have a huge mock exam, and they were pretty nervous about it, and they ended up sleeping less than they should. Because of what? They were too nervous. Their brain couldn't relax, they couldn't sleep. Well, stress is not something that you cannot manage. Stress is very manageable. And I'd like to tell you the story of one of my friends who's also participating in this competition. She's in the English debate team. And she got incredibly scared and stressed out because of the limited preparation time. The topic, she said, was also not what she expected it to be. And she felt that she just couldn't do it properly. However, if I look at her now, she's pretty happy and pretty relaxed, actually. Now, we might all wonder, how did she do that? She got from extremely stressed and all the way to relaxed and happy. How did she do that? Turns out, first of all, teenagers need to find their own passion. Everybody has a passion. You respectable judges and I, we all have passion, which is something that we do and we're good at it. It's also a favorite thing to do. For example, the friend that I mentioned before loved playing drums and going shopping. So whenever she got stressed, such as a few weeks ago, she decided to take a break and play the drums. Now I've done a few observations on her, although I wasn't stalking her. And turns out that she really loved playing the drums. And instead of just basking in her stress, she actually decided to release all the pressure that has been sitting on her shoulders for quite some time. And she played the drums. So the drums act as an object to divert the pressure on her shoulders. And that's actually pretty impressive. Besides that, she also does extreme impression time management. And she also made a priority list. For example, school is always first priority, and entertainment is second. That's important. So whenever they have time, they always will prioritize their schoolwork first, which means their academics won't go flunking down the drain. And that's good. Besides that, teenagers also need to stop procrastinating. I used to be a procrastinator myself, and I'm glad that I survived that phase. So, if I say there was, let's say, an assignment, it was due like on Wednesday, I only started doing it probably on Thursday night, Tuesday night, Monday night. It gave me no time to prepare at all. And it was terrible. It was the main cause of my stress. So, teenagers have to find their own way in order to manage their own stress well. And you, respectable judges, and I, together we can help teenagers we see each and every day to be able to find their own ways to manage their stress well. So let's help shape the future generation, which are the teenagers, in order to be able to be teenagers and individuals who are good enough to manage their own stress well. That's all for my speech today. Thank you very much.
Great job on your speech. Our next speaker is Priscilla Abigail Jaya. May I start now? No, I actually didn't want to join this competition. I mean, I asked that question countless of times while I prepared for this exact competition. And yet, here I am. So, a very good morning to the honorable judges and my fellow friends. My name is Priscilla Abigail Jaya, and today I want to talk about this one special word called motivation. Specifically, how do we stay motivated during tough times? Guys, let's all face it. We've all been there. We have this sudden spark of motivation, but that spark, it can slowly die down over time. And it's not just me or you who feels like this. It is shown that in the year 2025, only an estimate of 24% of students are motivated, which means that over 76% of students are demotivated. 76%. Can you all believe that? Guys, as a student, I get it. Tough times, they are bound to happen. And demotivation, it can feel inevitable. But what if I tell you that it isn't as hard as we think it is? Well, I believe that we should set our goals first. We set our highest of highest goals, the ones that makes us feel the happiest. But at the same time, we set smaller and more achievable goals. That way, we can start tackling down all of the barriers that are limiting us to our fullest potential. Now, before I continue with my speech, I would like to ask you all one simple question. What has kept you motivated in the past? It could be anything, really. It could be wanting to make our parents proud, or maybe getting trophies, or even just succeeding in life. Well, from what I've noticed, is that all of these reasonings have two things in common: fear and love. Think of the movie Moana as an example. Moana and her friends, they almost died trying to defeat the thunder god. But in the end, they succeeded no matter all the challenges that they faced. Why and how did Moana do that? Moana and her friends, they could do that because they loved their family. They loved her island and her people so much to the point that she's scared to never see them again. everyone, fear isn't always a bad thing. In fact, when we fear failure, it can create this sense of urgency. Try to remember the amount of times you have prepared and tried cramming as much information as you could before the day of an exam. That urgency is the same urgency that can be the final push for us to finish a task. And by finishing that task, it can give us a sense of accomplishment and relief, thus giving that person a very well-deserved confidence boost. You know, talking about confidence boost, it reminds me of this one time where I almost gave up in another competition. Months ago, I registered for my very first English competition. I was so excited. The spark inside of me, that motivation starts growing every single day. But as time passes by, that spark, it slowly dies down. I felt hopeless. Not only that, but problems, they come from left and right. My competition day clashed with my exams, and my friends, they all drifted away from me. Nothing seemed to be going right. At that moment, I felt so demotivated, not only for the competition, but for everything. The competition alone just felt like another burden that I had to go through. That is, however, until I saw all of my opponents. Oh my gosh! When I see them, I could see the fire burning in their eyes, like they're hungry for that win. And that spark that slowly died down inside of me starts growing back again. I was so motivated again. And in the end, I won second place. Now, what I want you all to imagine is what I could have achieved if I stayed motivated. What we as human beings could achieve if we all stay motivated together. Motivation, it's not just staying consistent. Motivation is how you would do anything humanly possible to reach your goal. And yes, it won't be easy. Most of the time, it'll never be. But I promise you that in the end, it'll all be worth it. Now, before I end my speech today, I would like to ask one small favor for all of you. I would like all of you to write down one simple goal, one that you could achieve maybe today or in a few days. That way, we can start this journey together. So, what are you waiting for? That is it for my speech today. Thank you all for listening. My name is Rochelle Abigail Jaya. Thank you again, and may God bless you.
Thank you for your wonderful speech. We would like to invite Rahel Denaya to the stage.
Good morning, honorable judges. You might be wondering why I'm holding this rope. Now, watch closely. If I pull it alone, it simply stretches. It's weak. But if several people hold it and pull together, this simple rope becomes strong. This rope represents us. Individually, we may slip, stumble, or lose direction. But when we work together, we become powerful. Yet even if everyone holds tightly, we still must ask, where are we pulling? And that brings me, Rahel Janaya Hosiana, to the first step in growing as a team. Begin with a shared goal. teams don't start with talent. They start with a purpose. As James Kashpini said, optimal teamwork emerges when individuals independently pursue the same objective together. A team without a shared goal is like a ship drifting without a compass. Everyone is rowing, but no one knows where they're heading. But when the goal is clear, every effort becomes meaningful and united. It's like pulling the same rope in the same direction. That naturally leads to the next principle. Build a foundation of trust. Because even with a goal, a team cannot move forward unless trust exists. Trust gives us the courage to speak up, to admit mistakes, and to ask for help. Without it, people hide their weaknesses and hesitate to take risks. But when trust is present, we stop trying to be perfect alone and start becoming powerful together. And when trust strengthens, something else becomes essential. Communicate openly. Communication is the oxygen of teamwork. Without it, the team suffocates. True communication means speaking clearly, listening sincerely, and giving feedback kindly. It prevents misunderstandings and keeps everyone pulling the rope in the same direction. And once communication is flowing, a team becomes capable of something even greater. Support one another. A great team lifts one another. Support can be as simple as saying, I can help. You've got this. Let's do it together. These small words build confidence and remind us that no one walks alone. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that is the heart of teamwork. As we support one another, we also create a safe space for the next step, learning from mistakes. No team grows without falling. Mistakes aren't signs of weakness. They are signs of progress. Instead of blaming, great teams ask, what can we learn? How can we be better next time? Like plants growing stronger after rain, teams become stronger after challenges. And when growth happens, whether big or small, there's one more thing we must remember. Celebrate success, even the small ones. Because growth takes time, and every achievement deserves recognition. Finishing a task, helping a teammate, overcoming a difficult moment. These victories, no matter how small, build motivation and strengthen team spirit. Well, in conclusion, to grow as a team, we must share goals, build trust, communicate openly, support one another, learn from mistakes, and celebrate success. When we shift from I to we, something powerful happens. As Ryunosuke Satoru said, individually, we are one drop, but together, we are an ocean. So, let us grow, learn, rise, and achieve, not as separate individuals, but as one united, unstoppable team. Because a rope is only strong when everyone holds on. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your speech. Up next, please welcome Grace Dominic with their speech.
Starting a healthy lifestyle is easy, but is it even possible to maintain it? Good morning, hi juries and attendees.
My name is Grace Dominic. It is an honor of mine to be able to freely share my thoughts regarding the topic of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And instead of listing habits of a healthy lifestyle, let's all embark on a different approach regarding the subject. So as I stated earlier, what exactly is a healthy lifestyle? So a healthy lifestyle, according to the World Health Organization, is a way of living that reduces the risk of being seriously ill or dying early. So, why do we need this? Well, I'm sure that we all desire a long and prosperous life free from any mental or physical problems. Well, the key to achieving that is through obtaining a healthy lifestyle. So, how do we obtain a healthy lifestyle? Well, some people would usually say that we need to exercise or even start a healthy diet. But we need to first understand the problem of why we are not maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Because the truth is we are living in the 21st century. Technology has significantly evolved, further pushing the boundaries of human development. With this also comes a few problems: misinformation, environmental issues, financial barriers, and many more. Well, for example, recent data from the Ministry of Health Indonesia indicates that 75% of smokers start at an age below 20 years old. Of this percentage, 23% start between the ages of 10 and 14, while 52% start between the ages of 15 to 19. The numbers regarding this single problem alone has reached the concerning proportions. Moreover, for the adults, with many root problems contributing to this. Because during this economical situation, many people struggle to maintain financial stability, leading them to regress to unhealthy habits. Some others struggle with intense social media pressure that they resolve to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Worst of all, in my opinion, that there are even some people who are so ashamed of their struggles that they refuse to seek out help in fear of being judged or discriminated. Which is why it is so important for us to understand the main problem of why we are not maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Because I would dare to argue that we, as society, have not contributed enough in this matter. With a lack of governmental support nor social aid, we cannot progress in the pursuit of a healthy lifestyle. But combined, we all have the access to provide aid in significant numbers in order to prevent any more individuals from adopting an unhealthy lifestyle. So now that I've understand and explained the main problems regarding this situation, I can finally answer my original question. Thankfully for us, yes, we can maintain a healthy lifestyle. And how do we do this exactly? Through collective ambition and support. Firstly, we need to change the perspective regarding a healthy lifestyle. A healthy lifestyle is a long-term commitment to both our physical and mental well-being. It rejects harmful practices, and it instead embraces steady personal growth, self-acceptance, and valuing the smallest bit of progress with every step we take. Secondly, social support is essential in helping individuals move away from unhealthy habits, especially in the digital age. Because through support, advice, and encouragement, we are able to empower people to make beneficial decisions for themselves. Thirdly, governmental support is vital in creating environments that protect people from discrimination and promote health, especially those who are dealing with addiction or striving for better habits for them. Because through encouragement, healthy social support, and many support for under-reserved areas, the government ensures political, economical, mental, and physical support for all individuals alike. Lastly, personal commitment and effort. Try different forms of healthy diet. Find a community that will be able to help us with exercise. And also journal your emotions. Do anything that will be able to help us maintain our original goal and not stray away from from a healthy habit. And all of these practices combined in theory will be able to help us maintain a healthy lifestyle. And in practice, definitely. Because according to academical articles like those from Biomed, indicate the relationship between strong social support and improvements in lifestyle. This reinforces the idea that we, as society, must uplift one another in the pursuit of a healthy lifestyle. Because combined, as I've said, we have the access to provide aid in significant numbers, ensuring not only the improvement of our current generations, but many generations to come. In this way, and in this way only, we are able to ensure the improvement and the maintenance of the healthy lifestyle of not only our generation, but many generations to come. With this, I have reached the extremity of my message. I am positive that the information I have brought today bears fruitful information that will be able to spread further awareness to us all. My name is Grace Dominic. Thank you for your attention and time.
Thank you for your inspiring speech. Following that, we have Kalista Esra Alfreda.
Good morning, everyone. On this sunny morning, let's offer a praise and gratitude to God, who has given the favors so we all can gather at this event, 9 PENABUR Junior High English Competition, in a happy state without a lack of anything. Second, I would like to express my thankfulness and gratitude to the Mr. and Mrs. Chairman of the JHEC Commit for having this occasion run very well. This moment will definitely lead to our improvement. And while also respect to all of the functionaries and all of the teachers who are passionately guiding us to reach our success. And certainly, I don't forget to say many thanks to all of my friends that have been supporting each other. Dear ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. My name is Kalista Esra Akritas Payung as the representative of the 9 PENABUR Junior High English Competition. And I feel very grateful because I have been given the trust to say a few words about how to keep motivated when things get hard. Dear all of my friends, being motivated must be one of our parts in our life. And with our motivation, it's not always easy because there's a lot of something that we cannot expect what will happen in the future. Okay, with motivation, it's not always easy. But we need to realize that we need to get up and do what we need to do. Dear all of my friends, sometimes days are filled with disappointment. Excitement, exam, fail, abandon, are just a few factors. But we need to realize that those things are normal, especially when we are undergoing the teenage moment. Either we're feeling down or feeling like we're having a bad mood, that is such a normal thing to happen since our body has hormones to work for emotional and physical growth. Dear all of my friends, in this era, there are a lot of teenagers who have taken the wrong path. Knowing about adolescence is something that we need to know. It's probably because the unknown reason of the adolescence. Stay with our motivation is something that we need to do to face all of the problems. Dear all of my friends, we can do the things to make our motivation go back is easy. First, we need to give ourselves a rest. We need to take a rest. We can give ourselves a stop, a full stop, and do the thing that we want to do. Like a fun thing, maybe like dancing or doing some hobby. It is such a good thing to make ourselves stand up again and gain more motivation. And then feel free to ask for help, to tell your story to the friends or people that you believe. Seeking advice and suggestion from relatives, friends, family, and teachers are to prove that you are brave not to escape. And after that, try to remember, what is your passion for living this life? Ask yourself, what am I doing for
this. A simple question like that can bring back all motivation. And then you can start to appreciate every single achievement that you get. Maybe a lot of teenagers like to say, oh, is that? Or that's it? But remember, even small achievements is proving that you are growing better. And then don't force yourself. Do not and never force yourself. It is okay if you want to do the things by slowly, not in hurry, and don't need to be perfect. A small progress is still a good progress. And after that, you can try to tell your problem, to tell your story, to tell anything to everyone. And then you can try to be sure to yourself that you can pass all of these hard days. Maybe a lot of difficult times can give us like, oh, I think I cannot do it. But remember, the difficult times can make yourself a great individual. Dear people, we realize that in our life, there are a lot of pressure and expectation from all of the people. We do realize that maybe teacher, friends, or maybe from our parents give us a lot of expectations. But we need to realize, do not lose that motivation. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I cannot do this. But remember, the difficult times mean that you are growing stronger and becoming a stronger individual. You are growing and shaping yourself into a great individual. I also hope that all of the teenagers can walk with a courageous heart and positive mind. Before I end my speech, I want to say a few words that always keep me motivated. The key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you for your amazing speech. Kindly come forward. Adela Joanna.
Imagine waking up one morning and then suddenly your phone won't turn on, which means no AI, no GPS, and no social media. And what's even worse, your Wi-Fi connection is gone. Now there's no sound of the messages pinging, no YouTube videos playing in the background. It's just you and your bed in complete silence. Now here's the real question. Could you survive a whole day without technology? Well, ladies and gentlemen, respected judges, educators, and my fellow youth, good afternoon. My name is Adela Joanna Hernawan, and today I'll be exploring a question that is both fascinating and frightening. Are we too dependent on technology? Well, over the last few decades, technology has grown at lightning speed. From artificial intelligence to biotechnology, to quantum computing and space exploration, it's transforming every part of our lives. But let's not forget the main reason why technology was made at the first place, to make our lives easier and more efficient. Yet, ironically, that same convenience has made us too dependent on it. This dependency has consequences. It's slowly stripping away something that makes us truly human, our ability to create, think critically, and to survive on our own. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a lion who's lived his whole life in a luxurious golden cage. Everyone calls him the king of the jungle. But the thing is, he can't hunt, he can't fight, and he can't survive on his own. is living under the illusion of his own power. You see, that lion is us. We are losing our instinct, our creativity, our problem solving, our resilience, because we thought technology did everything for us. We no longer consume technology, but rather technology. Why? Because it gives us too much comfort, too many instant answers. Instead of using our minds to solve problems, we reach for Google. Instead of thinking deeply, we scroll endlessly. And then there's the social illusion, the belief that likes and followers can replace real human connection. We post, we comment, we share, we chase approval of people we might not even know. Yet deep down, many still feel unseen and alone. Even the World Health Organization reports that 1 in 6 people globally suffers from loneliness, much of it linked to replacing real human connections with online ones. Now, I want you all here to ask yourself, if you were sick, would your thousands of followers come to your house? Would they bring you soup? Or hold your hand when you need comfort? Probably not. Because remember, relationship is not built on likes. It's built on love. We've created a digital world that feels alive. Somewhere along the way, we forgot to live in the real one. So, are we too dependent on technology? The answer, I believe, depends on how we use it. Technology itself is not a villain. It's a tool. The question is, are we using the tool, or is the tool using us? If we use technology negatively, it controls us. But if we use it positively, wisely, it empowers us. We can start small, like joining in outdoor activities and reconnecting with nature. Putting your phone away during meals and enjoy real conversation. Talk to people face to face and not just through screens. And always remember that technology is used to support life, not replace it. So the next time you unlock your phone or ask AI for an answer, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I using technology, or is technology using me? Thank you.
Great job on your stage. Our next speaker is Laurencia Natania Yuki Algari.
Shalom, good morning, honorable judges. Please be open, as all. My name is Laurencia Natania Yuki Algari. With great respect, I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity given to stand here and deliver a speech. The purpose of my speech today to encourage all of us, especially teenagers, to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest wealth is health. This statement was stated by Roman poet Virgil. What does this sentence mean to you? This sentence means that no matter how much money or success we have, none of it matters if we are not healthy. Logically, if we are unhealthy or sick, we cannot carry out our activities properly. We cannot work, study, enjoy our time with friends and family, and live our lives fully. According to the survey from Indonesia Ministry of Health, many teenagers still suffer from various diseases such as obesity, stunting, and mental health problems. What can we do to address these problems? we can change our current lifestyle to a healthy one. Talking about a healthy lifestyle, the word health, Health, health contains a hidden meaning to change our lifestyle. Why? Let me explain to you. The first letter is H, which means have enough water. From Siloam Hospital website, we are advised to drink 2 liters per day or 8 glasses mineral water. Lack of water can cause many problems such as dehydration and fatigue. The second letter is E, which means eat nutritious food. In Indonesia, we are familiar with the term my plate or isi piringku. This is what we must apply. Our food must contain protein, carbohydrates, vegetables, and fruits. According to MSD, if we do not eat nutritious food, we can experience digestive disorders, malnutrition, and hypertension. Next, the third letter is A, which means avoiding drugs. Many teenagers want to try drugs such as cigarettes or marijuana until they end up sick, addicted, and even die. What is the point of using drugs? It only worsens our health. The fourth letter is L, which means limiting screen time. How long do you play gadgets per day? According to 2024 survey, teenagers in Indonesia spend 6 hours per day on gadgets. 19% teenagers in Indonesia period from eye disease because playing gadgets for too long. Not only eye disease, but also can cause insomnia. Next, the 5th letter is T, which means training your body. Exercising is very important for our body, at least once a week. Reported from the website Ayo Sehat from Indonesia's Ministry of Health, exercise provides many benefits for the body, such as reducing the risk of heart disease, strengthening muscles and bones, and reducing stress. Next, the last letter is H, which means have good hygiene. Maintaining cleanliness can help us avoid disease. For example, we should wash our hands before eating to prevent germs from entering our bodies. And we should shower twice a day to cleanse our bodies from dirt during activities. Ladies and gentlemen, a healthy lifestyle is the best investment. By doing so, we can feel the benefit every single day. We don't need to start with something big. Just begin with simple steps like drinking enough water or walking for 10 minutes can change your life. I believe none of us want to suffer from serious illnesses, don't we? Therefore, let's be a smart and responsible teenagers. Apply the true meaning behind word health. By living health, we are ready to face the day and build a bright future. This concludes my speech. I hope it brings benefit to all of us. Thank you for your attention. School teens choose healthy living.
Thanks for sharing your speech. And finally, let's support Kinaya Epifania Pasaribu.
Ladies and gentlemen, picture this. You've always aspired to be a professional artist. You've created your portfolio to submit your art programs to a prestigious school. But as soon as the application deadline looms in, you suddenly find yourself feeling unmotivated. Now, why does this happen? Why does motivation seem so fickle? What even is motivation? My name is Kinaya Pipania Pasaribo, and today I'm going to be sharing insights on how to keep our motivation strong even in the hardest moments. Experts describe motivation as the desire or impetus to initiate and maintain a particular behavior. Without motivation, we wouldn't even consider doing the task in the first place. Now, one of the hardest parts about motivation is realizing it in the first place. Understanding our motivation helps us see what we should be doing in order to reach our dreams and goals. Now, this is where many people fail to understand. Ladies and gentlemen, motivation isn't that simple. It's built through consistent action every day. Your abilities and capabilities are developed through effort and experience. It's not something that you're simply born with. A study was conducted in 1998 at Columbia University by Professor Claudia M. Mueller. She took a large group of fifth graders and gave each of them complex puzzles to solve. In the end, she would tell each kid that they did amazingly regardless on how well they did. After that, she would take half of those kids and tell them that they were able to solve those puzzles because they were hard workers. On the other hand, the other half were told that they were able to solve those complex puzzles because they were smart and gifted. After that, she gave them more sets of complex puzzles to solve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. The kids who were told that they were able to solve the puzzles because they were smart and gifted spent the majority of their time working on the easy puzzles, and some didn't even bother to do the difficult ones. On the other hand, those who were told that they were able to solve the puzzles because they were hard workers were able to solve those harder ones, and not only that, they also spent the majority of their time working on all the puzzles in general instead of just focusing on the easy ones. This is the study on locus of control. Basically, from this study, we can conclude that those who believe they have complete control over their lives or internal locus of control tend to be more motivated, persistent, and responsible with what they work with. On the other hand, those who believe that outside forces control their lives or external locus of control are more likely to give up or blame the circumstances. In this case, it's their abilities and intelligence. The study on locus of control proves that our mindset and our motivation impact a lot on our performance, which is why we must always feel like we have complete control over ourselves and our outcomes. One of the easiest ways to implement an internal locus of control is to appreciate yourself on every achievement that you've made. Every time you notice an improvement, you have to say to yourself, wow, I did this. It was because of the changes I made. It was because of the effort I put in, I'm able to do this task, or I'm able to reach my goal. It's that simple. Build that belief that you have complete control over your life and your outcomes. One of the other things we should focus on other than our locus of control are our extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. These two types of motivation should be balanced. Only having extrinsic motivation where you focus on the outcome alone, for example, the reward, the paycheck, the praise, could often lead to boredom and lack of self-awareness. On the other hand, having intrinsic motivation where you focus on enjoying and appreciating the process itself helps you maintain that drive to do a certain task for the long haul. The prize should only be there as a reward or to boost your motivation. There are so many challenges we fail to face every day due to the lack of motivation. That one long overdue project that's been waiting for your attention for days. That one interview that you have yet to prepare for. Or maybe something as simple as booking a reservation for your friend's birthday party. These are the things that we face every day, which, if not handled correctly, could lead to our work piling up. Let's take the problem you had before as an example. You're creating your portfolio to submit your art projects and programs to your dream school, but you just can't seem to start because you simply don't feel motivated enough to do it. Here's what you do. First, you need to realize that you are in complete control over yourself and your outcome. The challenges are only there to stop you and make you feel terrible, but you have to push through it. Change your mindset. You are able and capable of doing this. Just believe in yourself. And lastly, don't forget the prize and what you're fighting for. In this case, a prestigious art school. But don't just focus on the prize. Focus on appreciating and enjoying your way there. Learn from the mistakes and the sacrifices you've made. But don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just enjoy, relax, and have fun. In conclusion, motivation is complicated. Sometimes, no matter how passionate we are about a certain hobby, a goal, or a project, finding the motivation to actually do it could be quite difficult. But remember, a small mindset shift could help change everything. Believe in yourself, trust in God, and just start. You can do this. And with that, I would like to end my speech here. Thank you all for your attention and support. You all have been such attentive audience. My name is Kinay Pasaribu. God bless you and good day.
Thanks for your amazing speech. We have reached the end of the speech competition. A big thank you to our judges for their time, and to all the teachers for their guidance, and to the all committee for helping this event run smoothly. Most importantly, thank you to all participants for your hard working today. You have all done an amazing job, and we are proud of each one of you. Congratulations to everyone, and let's keep learning, growing, and doing our best. Thank you.